Geronimo, and today I am very excited because I'm going to be teaching you how to make one of my favorite bows. As a matter of fact, the one bow that I use to train with to get proficient, because, you know, shooting archery in this style, traditional style, it takes getting intimate with your bow, not in a weird way. Practice makes you better. So if you switch to all kinds of different bows, you're not going to be as accurate in just one single bow. So anyways, my favorite bow is a bamboo-backed Ipe bow. You can't see the bamboo because I got this Allen camouflage duct tape because I go hunting with it sometimes. But that's not what we're going to make today because bamboo is a little expensive and difficult to get. So we're going to be making this sweetie. Alright, beautiful bow. It's a hickory-backed Ipe bow. It's going to be at 68 inches, so it's going to be shorter than your long bow that you make with red oak on my other video. What I would like to do is talk about what you need material-wise to make this bow. So let's get ready to make a bow. I always wanted to do that. So first thing we're going to talk about is the Ipe wood that you're going to get. Kind of standardly, and this may vary, but Ipe wood commonly is used for decking because of its resilience to water and its overall sturdiness, its strength. So it usually comes in a standard of a 1 foot by 6 or 1 inch by 6 inch, and that's 1 inch being the thickness and the 6 inches being wide. It usually comes in 3s, 7s, and that's foot and longer. So at 7s is what's going to put you in the right range in this build. Now, you can actually make this into 5 sections. With it being 6 inches, more or less, if you divide it into 5, you're going to get roughly a 1/8 inch stave, which is fine. It's going to be a good bow. Alright? You can actually take those 5 1/8 inch or more or less sections, cut that in half width wide, and the width, I mean, it's supposed to be inch, but it's really around 3/4, and you can get 2 staves out of that. So you're going to get off of one board a possible 10. Okay, 10 staves. And locally in my area, I can get Ipe, I'd have to order it though, at roughly, and it's usually more, but roughly $5 a board foot. And it usually puts me at $20 to $25 for a 7-foot board. So it's a little bit of a price for that board, but at least you can come up with about 10 bows possibly, which is pretty decent. So that's the Ipe, and we're going to talk about hickory. Alright, so hickory. You can get hickory usually standard in a 1.5 by 1 by 7 foot, 1 inch by 7 foot dimension. Very similar to the red oak bow build dimensions, and you're going to have to do a little bit of cutting to make the dimensions fit, and we'll talk about dimensions later. The dimensions will come later because we need to do something with the Ipe before we can get the dimensions on the backing, okay? So, alternatively, and this is what I do usually because this kind of gets expensive for me. Well, actually, I'll mention another way before I get to this point. You can also go to Three Rivers Archery and buy hickory backing if you choose to. You never know what it's going to look like when you get it. I've gotten a couple that weren't the greatest. But that's another option. You already have the backing and you can go from there. So alternatively, and this is what I usually do, you can split a railroad pickaxe handle and use it. You're going to plane it to the thickness that you need, which is usually, I think, an eighth thick, or a little bit more than that. Yeah, just a little bit more than an eighth thick. And that's how I usually do it, and I've actually done that to one of my bows in another build along. And the handle, we're going to go ahead and add in. The handle can be any wood of your choice. Ipe is a darker wood. You can do lighter woods, like on this one. If I think if you tie it in with another darker piece or something like that, it would be kind of weird to have a block of lighter wood on it, but that's just my opinion. So you can get a handle of your choice wood. It's got to be a hardwood though, 1 inch thick, or layers to equal 1 inch thick, like 3 layers right there. We've got 2 big thick layers and 1 little thinner layer there. And it's going to be 10 inches long for the handle. Hey everybody, so far this is what we've done. We've talked about the woods, we talked about the Ipe, and we talked about the dimension you want to get to the stave to be before you start cutting on it. We talked about the hickories, alright? But we didn't give dimensions because it's all going to depend on this bad boy right here. And we're just going to trace our final cut stave 1/8 inch outside with the hickory, alright? And then we're trying to make this beautiful bow right here, Reflex Deflex Longbow, hickory-backed, Ipe. That's what we're talking about today. Alright, so and alternatively you can use a railroad pickaxe handle. This is what I'm talking about right here. So I basically take a table saw and I cut it down the middle. Bam! Then I use the ripstop about a 1/4 inch out, and then I push one side in. Bam! And then I turn and I use the other side and I do the same thing. Bam! And then I got 2 pieces like this. And then I am going to attach them this way. I'm going to put little grooves on them to match. Put them like that, and then you have one long backing. I've also shown you this on the hickory-backed ash bow build along. So the whole cutting this and attaching it together. So you might want to check that video out. And another thing is, I'm going to be using a lot of power tools with this because I've graduated. I do a lot of hand tools still, but I mean, that was because of I started out doing nothing but hand tools because of necessity. I didn't have the hand tools I do now, so I'm going to use them. You're going to have to use your imagination. You can do pretty much anything you can do with a power tool with a hand tool, but you just have to, it's going to be a lot more laborious, and it's going to suck. I'm just kidding. You're going to sweat a lot. But like I said, I'm going to be using power tools, and for instance, I'm going to be showing you how I planed these woods already, right now. How'd you like the shot with the shavings coming at you? That was pretty cool, right? Okay, so that's it for today's episode? Sure, why not? Today's video about making a Reflex Deflex Longbow backed with hickory and using Ipe as a stave. This is my favorite type of bow, so you're going to have a whole lot of fun with this. If you haven't already tried to do a red oak longbow, I think you should probably start there. If I was to say something, stages, the red oak longbow would be beginners, and this one might be intermediate. And there's some other ones that would be expert. So intermediate. Try that red oak longbow first. And then you might want to do the hickory-backed ash bow, because you're already going to start learning how to splice and put together backings and place a wooden backing on a bow stave. Okay, so those are good things to get started with before you try to take on this. Take care, everybody. Have a happy new year. I think it's the 3rd, January 3rd today. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be great. 2016 is going to be awesome for me, because I'm going to make it that way. You make it your way. Bye-bye. Take care. Adios. Hasta luego.